In November of 2014, I went to Hong Kong with a group that I have traveled to several countries with. It's called Ramblers Worldwide Holiday. And they do primarily walking and hiking holidays. And so I've been to various countries with them. A friend of mine wanted to go to Hong Kong or wanted to go to China, and they canceled the China trip. So she said, well, let's go to Hong Kong. I said, okay. I had never thought about going to Hong Kong, but it was quite interesting. As most of you know, Hong Kong was handed back to the Chinese in 1997, and it had been leased from China by Great Britain for 99 years. And when that 99 years was up, they had to give it back. It's now called Special Administrative Region of China. And it's an area, Hong Kong includes all of this area. We hiked, came up all into this area, up through here, which is the area of Kowloon Peninsula, and then if you come back, well, this is really Sai Kung Peninsula, and then I'm not quite used to using this pointer. This is Hong Kong Island. That's one of the main territories. Kowloon Peninsula is up here where our hotel was, right through here. And then the other part is up to the left, what they call the new territories, and then all the islands that are all down in this direction and surrounding everywhere where you go. The pictures you usually see of Hong Kong are of the harbor right here. That's the Hong Kong harbor. And that's where a lot of all the international trade, the big buildings you see of Hong Kong are. Is there anyone here that's been to Hong Kong?
Yep.
Hi.
Where's China at?
Oh, China's up north. It's just further up north. I think there will be one picture where we hiked in one spot and we could see across the water to China. Several of us wanted to go across to China, but the places where you could go from where we were staying, they didn't recommend it. That's all I know. And they said there wasn't much to see there anyway. You have to get clear into mainland China to really see anything of China. And the Hong Kong Chinese have a little bit different culture than the mainland Chinese. After 100 years of British rule, that culture has become more a part of their way of life. So the first thing, now this is where it's all going to be out of sync, so I'm sorry about that, but that's, I'll just do the best I can. We stayed in Kowloon, which is across the harbor, in just a typical hotel. The Kowloon Hotel was on a busy street, and it was, we were about 4 blocks from where they were having a protest. And these were some of the protest scenes in that area.
What were they protesting?
They were protesting not being able to select who was going to run for their office, like that. China was dictating who was going to stay. This was our breakfast. You could have an omelet every morning if you wanted. Okay, and that puts us back to... So the protest was fairly close. We walked down there a couple days just to see what was going on, and it was very peaceful. There wasn't anything happening particularly, but you get different versions about the protest depending on who you talk to. And then I decided to try to do just, I guess maybe I will show you this one first. This is a scene that most people don't see in Hong Kong. People on the beach like this, at least American tourists don't. I had a travel agent friend who's retired, said she'd never known anybody to go to Hong Kong to hike. They usually go to shop, gamble, things like that, rather than do hiking. But this was our entire group. that's all there was. And this person right here, hidden down here, this fellow right here was our leader. This one was our leader. He had lived in Hong Kong. He's British. Had lived in Hong Kong in the 1980s for about 4 or 5 years and worked there. So he was pretty confident in taking us places to all the islands and everywhere that we went.
I have a question about that
Uh-huh.
picture.
Mhm.
What was behind you guys near the water? It was like red. All around.
Yeah.
See it on the water.
Oh, probably something just laying on the beach. Something on the beach. I don't know. We never saw any fish or anything like that that came up out of the water. So, good question.
How many miles a day did you hike?
It varied depending on whether we traveled by all public transportation. Ramblers is not the kind of tour pull a bus up in front of the hotel, have you all someone on your back, and it's not that kind. We walk out the front door, then we had to walk to the subway or to the, and then we had to travel by subway, by bus, public bus, ferry, a variety of transportation, but always by public transportation. And one of the things that it was a variety. The one thing that people do go to see, and here's another one that it was quite cloudy. The second day we were there, I went twice up to what they call the peak. And we had to travel across Hong Kong Harbor. I'm going to show you.
People go pretty fast there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have to kind of keep up, but we were there in November, so it wasn't the high tourist season. And so I think that's this is a typical street with the streetcars. Now this is the scene you're supposed to be seeing, and that's what they're there's nothing but fog. We went up on top of the peak. You take a tram up to the top, and the tram was built in the 1880s. Because the wealthy have big houses up there, and they had come down to the waterfront using sedan chairs, where they were just carried downhill. But the tram was what? The second day we went and had a better view, and that's the view from the top of that building, which
That's cool.
we used it in shopping malls as cut-throughs. Never went inside one store in a shopping mall. We used them always as a vehicle for getting somewhere. They had a replica of the old tram, and then this is us getting on the tram. That building was designed to be like a rice bowl on a pedestal.
Say the name of your travel book again?
Ramblers Worldwide Holidays.
That's cool.
And then a typical day, I don't want to bore everybody for too long. A typical day, and this is another bit out of order, we would maybe start in a particular place, either take the train, take the ferry, the Star Ferry across, start in Hong Kong. This particular day, we went to the Bank of China, where you can go to the top and have another view of the city. Then we took a ferry and went to one of the islands that is, let's start the slideshow through these.
So a typical day is a lot, it's expensive.
A typical day is we get up in the morning and we would gather at about between 9 and 9:30, head out. We always had to pack a lunch because we would go somewhere. There were no cars on this island. I like this picture, the laundry hanging above the shore. And we did a few things in Hong Kong Island, in the city. Took a ferry over to this small island and then walked the perimeter of the island. I can't remember that day where we had lunch. always had to pack a lunch. And then in the evening, we would have our dinner wherever we were, whatever restaurant was available.
Would you have to carry quite a bit of money with you in order to pay for your transportation?
It was all paid for.
Oh,
And
that
once
part
you-
was all paid?
That part, the transportation wasn't, you buy a card at a kiosk or a Subway, and that's for all public transportation.
Oh, I
You
see.
just show this
Okay.
card.
All right.
Yeah, so that made it very easy. Because these are not in particular order, it'll jump around a little bit. And I'm not watching them, so I don't know if we've come to the beach where they're cleaning the beach.
Yeah.
We've
She's
already
sweeping.
seen that.
Yeah, where she's sweeping the Christian church, just another scene,
That's cool.
American rural mailbox, getting ready for Christmas. Not sure what that was.
Somebody's house.
Yeah, somebody's house. And a graveyard, the graveyard in the monastery was interesting, or whatever that was, I can't
There's there
remember.
all day there. Not anything.
And
Whoa.
then back to the harbor, and
Oh, did you get one of those hats?
this is one of that little ferry is what we rode in to get over to this island.
Did you get to eat a floating restaurant?
We didn't eat in a floating restaurant, no. I don't think we were anywhere where we were that fancy. And then the pictures that come back, that night trip several times, because we were out on some of the outlying islands and we'd come back in the evening. And they would have these light shows every night that go on both sides of the harbor, on Kowloon side and Hong Kong side. I think we're back to the beginning.
Did
aren't we?
anybody get sick?
Yes, they did.
How bad?
Not really bad. And nobody seems to know what it was that caused it. You'd be sick for one night, stay in bed the day, and then you would find to go the next day. So we know 4 of us got sick.
Did you get sick?
Yes, I was one of them. So I missed one day of hiking because of illness, and one day because I didn't want to go. These are some markets. We went to a place called Sai Kung, and we did go to this harbor twice, this square. And these are supposed to be in sort of order where we could see them, because I have the food.
Yeah, but we don't know. They're out of
You
order.
don't know that they're out of order. So,
Oh,
this,
yummy.
when we get to this is some of the food that was on one giant Lazy Susan in the middle of the table. I can't tell you what all that is. And, yeah, don't ask either. But it was one giant Lazy Susan, and there will be pictures of it where we sat around and the restaurant was open to the market. And then another day, we went to the bird and flower and fish markets that are there as well.
Can you slow those down?
Can I slow them down?
Yeah, they just go and go on its own.
All right,
They're
okay.
fast.
Sure. Okay, it'll start over though. I can't do, okay. And one of the things there'll be, when you travel with the Brits, they are used to, and a couple of these people, they complain about this, and they are used to going back to the hotel, even though they've hiked all day long, going back to the hotel, changing clothes to go to dinner. But when you're out somewhere on some island in the middle of the trying to see somewhere, you can't really sit back to the hotel to do that. And as a result of that, we had some, and the Ramblers Association at
What was your reading this week?
I don't remember. This is an interesting picture. All of the scaffolding is made of bamboo. They use bamboo for scaffolding.
Ocean non-conforming.
This is the jade market. My friend and I opted out of the last hike of the day to go to the jade market and to the Hong Kong History Museum. And
It's a lot of stuff.
it was a lot. And then this is back to the Sai Kung Here's where we were eating, and there's that circular Lazy Susan with all that food on it.
Is that a floating, like,
It just-
restaurant?
No, it's not a floating
It looks
restaurant.
like food on it.
It's just on a lazy, like a Lazy Susan.
No, on the boat of the
Or
water.
they didn't eat on.
No,
What
no.
was the alcoholic beverages?
Beer, beer. A lot of beer, a lot of wine.
Was there a
good
limit
food.
to how much day you could bring back each visit?
I don't know. I wore what I brought back with me, just a pair of earrings and a necklace. I don't know if they have a limit on what you can bring back. They say you have to be really careful. I don't know whether when it's real or not, you know, so you do have to be careful with that kind of a thing.
Can you get in big trouble?
What?
Can you get in big trouble?
I don't, yeah, I suppose you could if you brought in the wrong thing and, didn't follow whatever the rules are. I suppose you could. Let's see, what then, okay, the monasteries, this is,
This is gonna be cool.
we went to a lot of monasteries. We went to, the one that impressed me the most was on Lantau Island, and this will just run through the day out, there's a bit on that one too. To answer Fern's question, how far did we hike? Well, some of the hikes were as long as maybe on the sheet of paper they were giving us could be, the actual hike from beginning to end might be about anywhere from 10 to 15 kilometers. But getting there, you had to walk to the subways, you had to walk, quite a distance to do things. So total miles that you walked in a day, I don't know. And nobody ever really kept track of it. Nobody had a pedometer, so. That part was hard to get a picture without having skyscrapers in the background.
So you were just like in awe all the time?
Yeah, pretty much so.
And that
It was
touristy thing?
just pictures. I'm not a professional photographer, but it was nice to see the two kind of cultures together. We were in some very small areas and where we were in temples. You had to be pretty careful. You weren't supposed to take pictures of people who were praying. You were supposed to be considerate of all of them. And because these are all being used, they're not here to they were. Unlike Judy and others that we know pictures, it's hard to just choose one. Ho Lin Monastery is the one, that's the big Buddha, it's called. I think are we back to the beginning yet? Did I come back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we saw him doing it.
Is that like stairs? Looks like it.
I'm guessing it would be.
Yeah.
And then what you all are here for is, I just tried to pick some of all the trails we were on. So you could see, they're not in any particular order. I just picked some of the areas where we hiked. One weekend we had a Chinese guy that was a guide. That's called Needle Hill. That's the one my friend and I, we opted out not to go. It was the last hike of the 2 weeks. That's China. That's mainland China. You're looking back over there. I'll tell you about these little villages in a minute, what they are and why they're where they are. But as these go through, you'll be able to see a whole lot of different types of trails that we want.
What's the elevation of Beaver Flat?
I don't know. Since I didn't go, I didn't care, I guess.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I caught that one that way. We ended up, there's a couple beaches that I forgot to put in, but we were always going up and down these hills and down the beaches and back up.
That's cool how the waves do that.
That's one of the lunch areas. I mean, we found all sorts of different places to have lunch. That's the view from there. Bride's Pool Nature Trail, it's called Bride's Pool because there's legend about it with the bride that was carried on a sedan. They tipped over and she drowned in that pool. So it's called Bride's Pool.
Oh.
That's another lunch spot. I think those are graves. Those are some kind of burial ground.
What kind of trees are those?
You can see the Brits like to drink beer. I was the only American.
Really?
It's a British-based company, so, yeah. And kind of trees, I don't know.
Underneath poison snakes.
I never saw a snake. I never saw bugs or snakes or anything. Oh, that's another 2 weeks. That's my friend. She always hates it when I get her napping somewhere.
That would suck if the water came up and
Yeah. And you can see all these signs. They all go different directions. That's why it's like a couple of the signs in, you know. We went to the one where it said Trio Beach. We went there. I mean, yeah, we went. I was there 2 weeks, and I liked this kind of a tour because we stayed in one hotel for the 2 weeks. Didn't have to keep moving luggage here and there. Okay, that's 459 meters up. But it's surprising on all the outlying areas how many country parks, hiking areas. One I didn't put in at all, we went to a whole educational gardening thing too that was part of the hike. But I think this shows a variety of the terrain. Now these were abandoned villages. I'll tell you what they were when I. Somebody riding a bike
Was it
down
for
this
health
trail.
reasons they were abandoned?
Yeah, I didn't tell you that, what they were, because we went to two, this one and the other one. And they were just on our way, you know, while we were walking. These two villages you can't get to unless there's no road access to. You have to hike to. They are trying, you can see this one, they're trying to bring them back. People are trying to move back into them. And you can see there'll be one, and then one fixed up, and then one not. And they're in these kind of rows like that. This is another one of them. Well, they were called Aka villages. And I did look up what happened with them. They were settled between 1644 and 19. I picked two pictures just to show. You saw women partying and some men. That's how they cleaned up all of some of this stuff. I mean, you didn't see them putting them on big party trucks and things like that. This was an interesting one to me. This is a street scene. Can you all read the sign that's up there? We walked the streets a lot. We were in and out the streets and everywhere.